Alright guys, so I'm going to get on a little soapbox about government. So here's the deal, here's a little history. For you, those of you that maybe don't watch all my videos or don't know a lot about me, I've been a hobbyist, wine and beer maker for quite a few years now. And with the wine, I was getting a lot of people that were wanting to buy it from me. And me trying to be the responsible person that I am, I thought, well, I know I can't do that, so let's go ahead and do this right. We'll set up a business and get the proper permits and everything so I can give the government their cut and not get my butt in any hot water. So I formed a business, spent a chunk of change getting the business formed. I formed an LLC for my winery, and I started going through all the paperwork and that, and applied to the TTB to get licensed to be able to sell wine. Now I wasn't wanting to open a big winery or anything like that, because I make this stuff. My basement of my house has been converted into a winery basically. That's the only thing I use it for. I had it blocked off kind of from the rest of the house, so to speak. I had doors that I could lock and stuff. And so I thought, well, we'll apply and see what happens. Well, they came back and they said, oh, sorry, but you can't do this out of your house. I'm like, okay, well, it's in my basement, and I got a door that locks between the upstairs and the downstairs, and what's the problem? I'm still going to do inventory control. And they said, no, the statute says that for the production of wine or beer, it has to be separate and apart from your residence. So I'm like, okay, so what you're saying is I can put a building up next to my house and I can make it in there. And they're like, oh yeah, that's fine, we'll license that. So I'm like, alright, so in order for me to do this, I have to construct a building that according to codes can be as close as 12 feet from my house. But because of what I'm trying to do, I gotta have this thing insulated, heated, cooled, and plumbed. I have to have plumbing. So we're looking at like $150,000 to build what I need to build in order to sell a little wine. Now granted, I'm not trying to be a huge winery. It's not what I want. I just wanted to give the government their cut of what people were wanting to buy, so everybody was happy. But apparently they don't want me to do that, because here's the deal with the economy. I thought, well, maybe I can start my business, start off really small without any debt, start out of my basement, let this thing grow itself. Because let's face it, I'm not going to get away with anything more out of my basement than I would out of a building that's 12 feet from my front door in my house that I just walk right next door to do it in. What's the difference if I walk to my basement or walk next door? And I even, I applied for a variance, and they wouldn't go for that either, because that was kind of my dispute, was how is it the inventory control going to be any different in a building that's 12 feet away from my house than it would be in my basement, when that's all I do in my basement. So anyway, I was wanting to start my business small and let it grow itself without any debt. That way, if it didn't work out, oh, I gotta change arms, that arm's getting tired. That way, if it didn't work out, I didn't know anybody anything, because, history has shown in the past few years here in the United States, we saw what our government did. They bailed out all the big businesses, gave them billions of dollars to bail them out because, oh, woe is me, we overspent and now we're going to have to close. But if I overspend and close my small business, they're not going to frickin' help me. They're going to be like, oh, sorry, and here's how much you still owe us. So I don't see where that's fair. So I kind of think that you know, the government is really ruining our economy because it's all about big business. Let's help the big guys. Let's save the big guys who are, you know, really, in my opinion, already established. They're making money. They're just not, they're not budgeting wisely. They're you know, giving their CEOs all these big bonuses. And I mean, look, they got bailed out and some of these CEOs still got bonuses. And so it just ticks me off that I can't start a small business or even really get any help from the government. I looked into the SBA stuff, but it's not really going to be much help to me. And they're just pushing the small guys out everywhere. So, I don't know, it's a really big disappointment. You know, I was hoping to start something and let it grow, and I thought I was doing a responsible thing by, you know, not taking on debt to start a business. I would think that with me not taking on debt and wanting to pay our government tax money, that they would do everything they could to make that happen. Because a business without debt should succeed. Right? I mean, I don't owe anybody anything, so how could I not succeed? But they don't want it to happen, so I finally made the decision that I wasn't going to pursue this anymore. I went ahead and sold off the majority of my equipment because I'm still going to do it as a hobby because I like making wine and beer, and I'll still make a little bit here and there just because I kind of enjoy doing it. But as far as the business part, thanks to the United States government, I've given up on it. You know, so I guess, yeah, keep supporting the big guys, keep giving them all of our money, and, you know, frick off. That's all I got to say to them. I'm so fed up with our government right now, and this is probably going to be, you know, part one of maybe a multi-part series where I'm going to get on a soapbox about our government, and, you know, hopefully I don't say nothing too bad and get shipped off to Guantanamo Bay or something, but it's just frustrating. I feel bad for my kids with the deficit and everything and the shape it's in and the way things are heading. Man, I don't know. Anyway, I'll end it there. So, thanks for nothing, United States government, and yeah, frick off.